Hello there, this is Louise from Louise's Lifestyle. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're making Dhaka street food, chotpoti. These are some of the ingredients that I will be using. I've got my potatoes boiling there. I've got a couple of boiled eggs on, and these peas are a Bangladeshi pea. I wanted to keep the recipe as authentic as possible, and I managed to get hold of these Bangladeshi peas. Now, chotpoti is a very famous snack food in Dhaka, Bangladesh. That's where I first came across it back in the 80s, and my recipe is quite a simple one. I know some people use a lot more ingredients than I'll be using, but this is the recipe I learnt back in the 80s, and people who've tried it, you know, have had my chotpoti, you know, say it's really close to what they experienced eating in Dhaka in Bangladesh. So I'm hoping that you'll stick with this video, and I'll be coming back when potatoes and the eggs are fully boiled. So this is tamarind, and I'm going to be making, sort of extracting some juice from this by using this kind of like a pulp. There are seeds in there, so the whole bean pod grows like a bean. It's fermented and then it turns this colour. So I've just removed, say, half a block, and I've got it in hot water here, and then I'll mash that up with a fork, and then I will sieve the pulpy mixture and the seeds, and I'll just be left with liquid. And to that liquid I will be adding, there's some this is dry roasted cumin and dry roasted coriander together. So I'll show you how I do that as well. And once you've made that, you can store that in a jar, keep it from going, well, losing its flavour basically. These are also some of the ingredients that I'll be using, and these sort of things like chilies can be added according to your taste. You don't have to have a lot of heat in this dish, you know, it's an optional thing. So I'll show you how I dry roast these. I'll be chopping an onion, got some coriander leaf there, and I'll be using this is Bangladeshi black salt. It's sort of like sulfate, kind of a sulfate type of salt. I did used to use this pran mixture, and it's basically chili, cumin, coriander, monosodium sulfate. So that, yeah, so that's what that is there. But I've run out, so I've only got peas. Literally it's just peas, and I got this is actually from Bangladesh. You can see it's not in pounds, it's in taka, 30 taka it cost me. So that's what they use in Bangladesh. I know some people add a lot more ingredients, a lot more spices, but my recipe is very simple but very tasty. So in the pan there, on this side we've got the coriander and we've got some cumin. Now some people use the actual whole coriander seed and the whole cumin seed, and then they dry roast them in the pan. There's no oil in there, and then they put it in a grinder. But you know, I'm not even going to make you know, life difficult. I've already got ground coriander powder and I've already got ground cumin, so I don't need to do that process. So all I'm going to do is sort of toast these lightly so they'll go a darker colour, and then basically it starts to give off a different aroma once, you know, once it's sort of like been dry roasted in the pan. So it adds to the flavour, and then when you add this to the dish, it doesn't taste raw. You know, there's nothing worse than a raw you know, spice to dish. So just a couple of minutes. You don't want to burn it. So the spices have gone a bit darker now, darker in colour. There's like a little smokiness coming off, so they're ready now. So I'm just dry roasting the chilies now in the same pan, and just aiming to get them a little bit dark, which takes a minute, and then these will be crushed, and that's how I'll make the sort of like chili flakes. What we're doing now is I'm going to fry some of these. They say golgappe, but in Bangla we call these fushkas. You can buy ready-made fushkas. I used to make my own, but they're quite time consuming. I might do that in another video. I won't have time to show you that today, so I'm just going to fry some now to show you what they are. So oil's got to be very hot. I'm using my little Bangladeshi karai pan, deep frying. So up they pop like that. You can put in a few at a time. And literally, you know, just take a minute to do. And I just put them on some kitchen paper just to drain the oil off. Turn them over. So yeah, you don't have to make these by hand if you can get these sort of like semi-made. You just have to pop them in some, you know, a deep fryer. Make sure the oil's very hot. Just add in a few more. As I say, I used to make these myself because you couldn't always buy this brand. This is only in the last, I think, year or two that I've seen these pre-made ones. I've seen the ready-made ones in the Asian sweet shops. You could buy them in a box. I think you get about 10 or 12 in a box. But they were quite expensive, so I've, you know, sort of like had many attempts at making them myself, and finally got a recipe that did actually work, because these are crispy, they're not doughy. So if you were to touch these, they're like crisp on the outside all the way, you know, and they're hollow inside. So they're not puris, which are more doughy and soft. And although puris blow up like these, they're not crisp. So that's the difference. Okay, so I've got all the ingredients assembled now. Got the mashed potato, chopped some onions, got some coriander leaf, and I've got some green chilies there, and I've added some salt, and just going to mash those all together. You could use your hands if you wanted to. That, give it a good old mix. And then what we're going to do is this will go in there. So in here I've strained the tamarind. There's the pulp. I've strained it into another container, so all the seeds and the sort of pulpy bits I've kept to one side. And to that liquid I've also added, just put that to one side, I've added our cumin and coriander, so the jeera and the dhania powder, which was dry roasted. I've added some of that to there. I've also added some of that in here as well, in this the cooked chickpeas. So give that a little bit of a stir, and then I'm going to add some of that juice, not all, because it's quite sour. Now some people add sugar to theirs. I don't add sugar to any of mine. You know, it's not necessary. When I first had chotpoti, it never had sugar mixed in, but nowadays people seem to add heaps of sugar in, and it just completely changes the taste for me. So this is my Bangladeshi bowl I got specially for chotpoti. I'll add the potatoes in. When you serve this, usually on special occasions like Eid, if you know, in this country, in the UK, whereas in Bangladesh, you know, if you're just going outside and you're peckish and you're wanting a snack, this is the ideal food for it. Plenty of protein in the peas, and iron. You've got your potatoes, carbs, chilies, vitamin C, onions. So that's the mixture, and let me just show you what's in these little bowls here. So these come with that. So what I'm going to do is get the spoon out, transfer it in there. So if you were serving this, you want to serve it in a nice bowl. You could keep what's left in the fridge. Got a lid on there to keep it clean. And then these little dishes, so what I've done is I've grated an egg here. So basically, just pop that spoon over there. Just got my egg, and you can just grate some straight over the dish. And some people mix their grated egg straight in when they're presenting it. It just looks nice, you know, that when you're serving the dish, you've got like this garnish on top. And then it's optional if you want a bit more, you can add that to your individual dish. And I've got the little bit of onion here. I've got the tamarind, or the tetul, call it tetul. The tok means sour. I've got the dry roasted cumin and coriander, the jeera and dhania. And I've got my dried chili flakes if you like it hot. So basically, I'll show you what to do is make a little hole in there, and just get a little teaspoon, and you pop that in there. Oh, I forgot to add something. Let me just pop that to one side. So add a few more chilies on top, and a little bit of coriander garnish as well. Now some people break up their fushkas and sprinkle it on the top as well. So you can do that. You don't have to serve it this way. And what they do is they'll have a bowl like this, and basically they'll add what they want. A bit of onion, bit of egg, and a little bit of chili flakes, depending on how hot you want it. Skimped a little bit on that egg there. And then little bit of chilli. What I do is just crumble the fushkas. Usually the fushkas, if they all blow up like that, that's fine, but sometimes they don't, and then you can't really use them. So instead of wasting it, you just pop it in there and basically just eat it like that. I'll show you the fushkas. I'll just get them all set up and then you can see what I'm talking about. So here's the finished product. There's a chotpoti with peas, onions, grated boiled egg, coriander leaf, green chilies, and I've added the tamarind mixture to it. And you can present, so these are the pushkas, and then you fill them with the chickpeas. You make a little hole and then you eat them just like that. You can add a little bit of the juice, the tamarind juice, as much or as little as you want, and then you have the extra hot chili if you wanted to add that to it. Also you can add more masala, coriander, the cumin mix, and if you prefer to have it just like in a bowl, that's how you'd present it. And you could get one of these fushkas and crumble it over the top. So that's how I make Dhaka Chotpoti. I may do another video showing you how to make fushkas. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.